How are you holding up with everything going on right now? And how are you kind of keeping your boredom at bay and staying sane?
Well, things is by the way, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. So things here right now is, like a gym. The of course gym. I gotta talk about gym. It's opened up actually 2 weeks ago, I think. Then it's still open as of today. So we don't know about any moment they could shut it down again. But restaurants are, I think some restaurants shut down, but most of them are still open. So
Okay.
we kind of feel getting back in normal at this moment. Normal. Like you gotta still wear a mask and everything, but of course, end of March, everything was shut down. Of course, my main thing again, gym. We we haven't been to the. I mean, I still haven't been commercial gym yet. I mean, I went there a couple times, but I'm still cautious. But most of the time, I was training in my garage, which I didn't have anything in it, of course, before pandemic started, but I just got everything else shipped from Japan from my sponsor, probably in April. So a couple weeks I could not, I wasn't able to do real workout. I was doing just like a body weight, like things like that, like tube and stuff. But most of the time, since April, I've been able to do almost regular workouts. So believe it or not, I feel great, and I feel really fortunate. During this pandemic, most of people couldn't work out, and and lost their drive, lost their determination. It's easy if you have access to the gym. Like
Right.
especially in Vegas, it's 24 hours. So we just we I guess we are just spoiled. Now we realize how important it is to be normal. So we again we don't know about tomorrow. It may be shut it down again, but at this moment I feel normal. Of course I'm still, people are still cautious.
Well, you're not only very, very social out there in the real world, but you're also really active on social media between your popular Instagram and now the YouTube channel you have. I was curious, what's one of the funniest comments or one of the weirdest things that you've read about yourself online?
Well, a lot of things, because YouTube, uh, a lot of audience is not really, it's not, doesn't, it don't necessarily to be a bodybuilder. So people are just comment my YouTube by accident, just scrolling the YouTube and find me, and the comment is kind of surprised me, because I've been always with like people train, like people doing understanding the sports. So it's not really common for me to let them know what I'm doing, because they know it already, right? But I seen YouTube comment, like from general people who is not familiar with weight training and stuff. So the comment they make is so funny, because of course, bodybuilder has to be bigger than usual people. So
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I never realized it until I read the comment. I my uh, how I how I breathe, like feels like, sounds like I'm having trouble just breathing. You know what I mean? Like this is normal for me, because I'm like I'm not the tall guy. I'm like 5'5". Then I'm always like 220 or 230 pounds, which is way heavier than like how I supposed to be. Maybe
Right.
I'll be like probably like 150 pounds if I never train, right? So I'm heavier, like 50 pounds heavier than regular weight. So my breathing is like almost like I'm dying or something, dying for air or something, right?
Yeah.
But I never realized it. But people commented, "Are you okay? Or are you having?" I I was like, okay, okay, I never realized it, but maybe I, I do, I do breathe
That's
like
really funny.
sometimes people ask me how you move so slow. Then I wasn't I wasn't really realize I was moving slow. Especially before the show, I was so tired because depression from dieting. Then some people looking at my YouTube and I'm just moving so slow, and they think like, are you like some kind of ill or something? That's so funny. Just being bodybuilder is very special. I mean, it's not normal for regular people, and but since I'm not like not associated with many normal people, because lifestyle is different, like
Very.
and eating like 6 times 7 times a day. So I don't have many friends, just normal friends. So all my friends is bodybuilder, so it's normal for us, but I guess it's not for general people.
No, definitely not. I can imagine them kind of stopping by your channel thinking, oh, he looks very different than what most people
Right,
look like. So they must spark questions and think differently. But it's kind of funny they were able to point out things about yourself that you didn't even notice.
right, exactly.
Well, I know that you were pretty athletic growing up as you took part in baseball, judo, martial arts, and even rugby, and you always wanted to be a professional athlete. So when did the passion for bodybuilding kick in and you decided to go with that rather than all of those other sports that you were passionate about?
Well, I tried many sports like you just mentioned. I baseball. I mean, I liked all sports. I never really good at any of it. I was just like normal, like average athlete. But I always wanted to be something, like someone, like not necessary to be famous, but something. I have a passion, inside, and I wanted to find it. Then when I was doing rugby, I was playing rugby football. Like I said, I was probably like 160 pound regular guy, but I was always muscular, but never really big. Like when I was doing martial arts, I was cut, more like like not bulky, but I always have abs and stuff. So when I start rugby, obviously I need more size to play well. That's when I started lifting weight. I had no clue. I just wanted to do bench press back then. If you're familiar with weight training, bench press is the most favorite exercise for guys. you
Yeah.
know, you want to have big chest and stuff like that. So I did a bench press every day. I had no clue how to work out, but I just loved it, and I saw the changing on my physique. My chest, came up really quick, and guys are, like other guys, they did the same thing as me, but it didn't happen to anyone, like but me. So I was like, okay, this is something I'm really good at. Then after that, after I stopped playing rugby, I just kept, lifting weight, and I found bodybuilding. Uh, when I'm in college, I was looking, for some like sport team, like I didn't want to just study. I wanted to join something, like to make friends and stuff. And I found this weight training like a team in college. That's when I started like powerlifting first, then bodybuilding. I started immediately. I
Okay.
started competing bodybuilding. Then I took it was like national college. I took like third or fourth, so you know I felt like something great, So I would feel like, okay, this is something I would be really good at. That's when I decided to be a bodybuilder.
It's amazing how organically your path was led there. And of course, it did bring you to be a five-time IFBB Pro champion, nine-time Olympian, and of course, an Arnold Classic 212 winner. I know that back in Japan, though, back home, bodybuilding wasn't really a huge thing, especially when you started competing. I know your parents were always very supportive, but how did others around you react to you taking up such a unique job, looking differently, and not really going that regular route, especially when you started getting all of these incredible accolades?
Well, surprisingly, I remember I was telling my friend, of course, back then when I was in college, I still had regular friend, like people didn't do workout. But they were, like a good friend. I still talk to them, but they also remember I was telling them I would compete Mr. Olympia someday. That was like just after I started bodybuilding. Then I knew Mr. Olympia because of the VHS video back then. There was no I don't think there was a YouTube back then. So only like all information was magazine and video, right? So I was telling these people I was going to compete Mr. Olympia like someday. Then they of course they laugh at me, of course, right? Because Mr. Olympia, they knew Mr. because I have them watch my video, with me, so they knew what was it. And at that point, there was no professional bodybuilder from Japan. I mean, there was some, but they didn't never
It
done,
wasn't
never,
mainstream.
right, never been able to compete Mr. Olympia. So back then it was like a dream. No one really care about professional bodybuilding because it was so up there. Like we couldn't even imagine some Japanese up there being up there. But I was like, why not? If you, I saw no one ever be Olympia stage because no one tried. So I thought I was going to try. You don't have anything to lose, right? So
Yeah.
when I when I had opportunity to come here, I mean America for the first time, I seen all these guys, like in front of me, real professional bodybuilder, and my impression, of course, I was wow, like because I seen them only in magazine, like back then, no social media, so I was impressed, but at the same time, I thought I could be like them, like I don't know why, but I thought I could be, like this kind of physique. I looking back now, it was crazy because I just started. I was
Right.
like probably like 170 pounds or something, a little heavier than I started, but I was nowhere near close to their physique. But I thought I could be like them, in a few years. So I had a something, some like confident, like without no reason. But that's how I, you know, like my competition, my goal was only being a professional. So I wasn't really care being Mr. Japan or anything. I wanted to be, like qualified to the pro, which I needed to compete Mr. Asia or Mr. Universe. So I went to Mr. Asia and then I won, and I could turn pro in 2005. I mean 2003. Yeah, it
That's
took me 10 years to be professional.
It's incredible though that you never gave up. You stuck with your passion, and of course it paid off because look at you now with so many championships now under your belt. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time for coming on here. It has been so lovely being able to speak with you and pick your brain and hear these stories. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for having me. It was fun. And over there, is it still shut everything down?
Pretty much the only thing open over here are patios, grocery stores, pretty much necessities, and then we're kind of hoping to ease into stuff as well. So fingers crossed, just like with you over there, it starts to get better soon.
Right. Stay safe and be healthy. Peace.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Again, everyone, this has been the amazing Hidetada Yamagishi. I am the interview queen, Alicia Atout. Be sure to check out aliciaatout.com for all exclusive interviews and features, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.